Yo, Shiraz, what's up? First comment. Parm Deep, how's it going? Hey, Francis. Hey, man. What's going on, guys? Have you looked at the GME BTC pair? Interesting. Looks bearish compared to BTC, which is no surprise as BTC has been ripping. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hope you guys are doing great. Just watch some football, drink some beers. Now getting ready for a big week ahead. Very exciting times, wow. Really, really very exciting times. We're so close, everybody. So close to glory. Man, I can't wait. We're just counting down the days at this point. It's coming, baby. Our melt-up is coming. Believe it or don't believe it, it's coming regardless. Things are about to get real exciting in the GME world. That's for certain. I'm just gonna wait for like 4:25. I'll wait another couple of minutes just to let some people come in if I didn't see the link yet. Been hearing it's close for months. Hopefully it's this week. Not for me, you haven't. I've been very clear. I've been very clear that I'm expecting a melt up once the weekly trigger, which is this blue line right here, crosses above the monthly trigger, which is the purple line right here. We got that cross last week, and now we're on week 2 of the bullish crossover. So far, as you can see, so far so good. Is there a synchronicity between the MAs and LE waves at all? Yes, there is. There is, big time. I'm all in on January calls. Am I cooked? Hello, my future millionaire, Steven Gonzalez. Don't forget about me when you're rich. Just gonna wait one more minute, and then we're gonna get started. Okay, let's go for it, guys. So first of all, thank you all so much for tuning in. I think we got an exciting stream for you guys. A lot of things to go over. First of all, oh my God, I mean, would you look at this chart? Can it be any more obvious where price is headed right now? Oh man. Honestly, I can't even sleep these days because this is just such an exciting time, man. 4 years in the making, this melt up. 4 years in the making. And, you know, it's really where you're at the point right now where it's like, all right, any day now. Any day now. So, you know, for you guys just tuning in, for a couple of months now, I would say closer to half a year now, ever since this big explosion happened back in May, I made my opinion adamantly clear that I did not think this was the big melt up yet. I did not think this was going to go places. And instead, I made a bunch of videos stating that once this weekly trigger down here, right now it's at 22.38. I made a bunch of videos saying that once this weekly trigger crosses above the monthly trigger, which is this purple line here at 21.83, that is when we'll actually have our melt up. Not here, even though price went up a lot, wasn't ready for a melt up, not a melt up setup. But once the weekly trigger crosses the monthly trigger, that's when we'll get our melt up. And you guys can see, I mean, painful couple of months here. Like, the weekly trigger was so close ever since end of August. So yeah, the whole September, the weekly trigger just trying to break through. The whole October, weekly trigger is trying to break through. And then finally, mid-November, we get that bullish crossover. And now the melt up is well underway. Looking perfect, looking beautiful. Could not be more excited for all my GME holders. So, of course, without a shred of a doubt, this price is going way above 100 soon. Very confident on this call. If you're taking a trade setup here, you know, very simple. Invalidation is a weekly close below 21.83. Price target is 130, as I'm sure many of you guys know. Now, this isn't the price target for, you know, the top, but for a melt up, I think 130 in a 2 to 3 week time span is more than enough for me, at least, to sell my options, hold my shares, but sell my options. This is what I'm targeting, 130. And then I believe we'll get some sort of pullback, maybe like 100 or so, maybe 90, whatever it is, a pullback, and then one more new high. Now, where the new high is going to go, that's anybody's guess. Could we see 300? Could we see 500? Could we see 1,000? Could we even see 2,000? Possible, I'm sure. But I'm sticking with my plan here. My plan is to sell my options at 130 and then chill out and let the rest ride via shares. So very exciting. I don't believe we're that much longer to go. I think we're just around the corner. Yeah, Gorkem, this is recorded. You can watch it at a later time. So I wanted to share with you guys a couple of things. One is, you know, Ethereum Classic. So we've been tracking Ethereum Classic because when Ethereum Classic moves, GME tends to follow. I've shown that in a bunch of videos. So, you know, very exciting news that Ethereum Classic is pushing higher. And now, if you look at this setup, very similar to GME, it broke above its monthly trigger here, getting a bullish crossover right here with the daily trigger crossing above the monthly trigger. And to be honest with you guys, Ethereum Classic looks like it's going much higher. So this big melt up, by the way, another really good example of the weekly trigger crossing above the monthly trigger. And then you have a little bit of sideways consolidation. What was this? Here you had the bullish cross in February. So a little bit boring for February and March. And then all of a sudden in April, kaboom. That's a melt up right there, right? I mean, that's definitely a melt up. So here's the bullish crossover. 1,600% to the upside. And again, very simple. Just a bullish weekly trigger, monthly trigger crossover. Weekly trigger is below the monthly trigger. Some downside, some pinning, and then all of a sudden you get that crossover. And a little bit after, you know, less than 2 months after, you get this 1,600% move to the upside. So Ethereum Classic is looking like it's ready to do the same sort of bullish crossover and explosion. And Ethereum Classic tends to precede the GME run, so very exciting times. Now, I wanted to show you guys something pretty cool. I took this from 2020, right? I told you guys a couple of weeks ago about my theory that it's all about the halving cycles. So 4-year cycles, Bitcoin halving, and then, you know, GME climbing up, and then exploding. And I put the halving dates right here. Let's just get this out of the way. So this was the past halving, May 11th, 2020. And then we had, this is not supposed to be here, this is April 19th. And here was the next halving. So I gave my, you know, max date for the melt up is going to be from here to here is 247 days. So my max date for the melt up is like December 23rd or so, if it takes that long. 247. Yeah, so just in case things don't take off in the next month, I think they will. I think we're about to take off, but just in case, you know, I would say my max date for this is going to be December 23rd, where you get that start to the explosion. But I don't even think it's going to take that long. I just want to be clear, that is my max date for this all to take off, so December 23rd. Same amount of days as halving to explosion. So here, halving to explosion. But if you take a look at the 2020 cycle, right? Leading up to the melt up, we saw a specific price action. We saw a big pop that was then sold off, and then price made like a bowl kind of formation, like down and then up. It's like a bowl, like a cup. And then a pullback, and then an explosion, and then a little bit of a pullback, followed by the real melt up. So, keep in mind this price action: a pop, a little bit of a cross sideways, a bowl, and then another drop, and then a big pop, and then a pullback. And then if we go back to current date, you guys are going to see something pretty cool. Now, I'm not saying this is exact or anything, or like it has to play out this way. Just pointing out another thing in addition to all of the signs that GME is about to melt up. A cool addition that I've seen is that price seems to be doing something very similar to the 2020 price action. So let's go through it. We had that pop and then a little bit of a sideways crawl. Pop, then a little bit of a sideways crawl, right? Looks pretty similar. Then we had this bowl, down, sideways, back up. 2020, we had that too, down, sideways, back up. So it looks kind of similar to this. Then we had this little drop off followed by a big pop. And if you see, we had that from right here, a little bit of a drop off and then a pop. And then in the final stages, we had this last pullback and then boom. And, price kind of looks like it did that last pullback. So are we a couple of days till the start of the melt up? Very, 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 very possible. It's hard to contain my excitement right now because, this is just so bullish. This is so obvious that price is about to head to the hundreds. And all the signs are there too. It's like you have Bitcoin ripping 100K. Yeah, of course Bitcoin's going to go above 100K. Bitcoin did not range from 50 to 70K for 8 months just to break above all-time high in November 6th and then move up for 3 weeks and then die. If anybody's calling top here, you can block and ignore them online. That's crazy talk. I mean, come on. More than likely, we're just going to have a little bit of a pullback. Pretty far extended from the daily trigger. So, and price did lose the hourly trigger on Friday. So, I mean, more than likely you get a pullback to like 89. Like you see this daily strength, this shaded region. So this is going to be where the buyers step in. So worst case, I'd say you get like a dip to like 90, between 90 and 85K, and then new highs. Like, if anybody's gonna tell you that price went sideways for, what was it, like 230 days, just to break out to all-time high and go up for 24 days, they've lost their mind. I mean, come on, use some common sense, guys. Price does not range for 7 months just to break out and then die. That's crazy talk. But let's get back to GME. So to me, it's really getting very simple at this point. No need to overcomplicate things. I mean, the melt-up is either just going to start or there's going to be one pullback to the daily trigger. Now, why do I say that there might be a pullback to the daily trigger? Very simple. Let's look at previous melt-ups. And that's really where I get my data from. Like studying previous melt-up scenarios, what could we possibly expect if GME is going to melt up again? And I've shown this before, but I'll show it again because it really illustrates that these things that they at the end of the day, because there's so much algorithmic involved, you're gonna have similar patterns no matter what. Now it doesn't have to be exact. This isn't comparing fractals, but like melt-ups are melt-ups. And so if you like the way we've had two memes melt up in the past was a very specific way. And so to me, it's like if you can identify a pattern that is clear and obvious in two melt-ups already, then there's no reason that the third shouldn't be the same. So let's go through it, right? We had the GME melt-up in 2020. We had a bullish crossover, and then we had a nice big pop, and that big pop was followed by a sizable retracement down to the daily trigger. And once it got down to the daily trigger, it caught support because that's where the algos were buying it, and immediately after the melt-up started. When we look at AMC, it's kind of the same thing. Here the weekly trigger was a little bit behind, but same thing, big pop, little bit of a sell-off, price was like hugging the hourly trigger on the way down, didn't even get to the daily trigger, and then immediately after the melt up started. And to me, it's so simple. It's like, here's the big pop from GME, same as this, and then either we have that little pullback to the daily trigger, which right now is at 24.90, climbing 20 cents per day, so it's going to be at 25.10 end of day tomorrow. And when you look at AMC, it's the same thing. It's a big pop, little bit of a sell-off, not that crazy, only for a couple of days, like 3 to 5 days, and then the melt-up starts. And here too, big pop, you have a little bit of a sell-off from December 29th to January 11th, 10 days or so, and then melt-up. So I really think we're in that same area right now where we got the bullish crossover, we got the big pop, and now we're just like kind of waiting for that last pullback to take place, but followed by the melt up. And so to me, it looks like we're like right around the corner any day now. I'd say surprises at this point are much more likely to be to the upside than towards the downside. I do not think price will see anything below the daily trigger before the melt up starts. So like my max pain for this scenario, you guys see this light blue shaded region. So that's the trigger strength that starts at 26.32. So like you might even get a dip to the daily strength and then the melt up starts. Like here, didn't even pull down all the way to the daily trigger. Like I got close, but bounced off the daily strength. Over here, the daily strength is a little bit stronger, coming in at like 26.30. So maybe that's going to be the dip before further upside. But regardless, no matter which way you spin it, it just looks super obvious what's about to go down. And what's about to go down is like, maybe you get that dip to the daily trigger, maybe you get the dip to the daily strength, and maybe there's no dip at all. But all roads lead to melt up going forward, in my opinion. So I think we're in this area right now. I would not be surprised to see something like this take off in the middle of this week and just one day candle to 40. I mean, imagine that. How fun would that be? A one day candle to 40. It will be euphoric, if you see that candle, then yeah, melt up has begun. But regardless, I just think like, okay, let's say worst case you get that dip down, such a beautiful buying opportunity. Like in fact, I would even put here like sell the house, YOLO calls. That simple. Like you guys if you get any dip near the daily trigger, this is not financial advice. Like obviously do not listen to this, but I'm saying when I look at a setup like this, this is where you want to really, really take a shot. For me, not for you guys. I'm saying if I would personally see a dip down towards the daily trigger, and look at this, all right? See how the weekly is strong bullish and the monthly is strong bullish? When that's the case, when the weekly trigger is on top of the monthly trigger, algos are not going to be greedy with their dip buys. They're not going to wait for price to pull all the way down here to buy the dip. As soon as it even gets close to the daily trigger, they're going to buy the dip. And you can see the same thing here. As soon as price even got close to the daily trigger, the dip got bought. Same thing here. As soon as price even got close to the daily trigger, the dip got bought. And then if I pull up, more recent melt-ups, if you guys think like, things have changed over 4 years, they didn't. They didn't at all. Let's look at Tesla. Here, bullish weekly trigger, monthly trigger crossover right here. Beautiful bullish crossover. The monthly turned strong bullish and the weekly turned strong bullish. There was a pullback after the bullish crossover, right? You had that big pop, pull back to the daily trigger. As soon as price even touched the daily trigger, kaboom. Huge upside move from 241 to 350, $1.10 move in a week. Are you kidding me? From November 4th to November 11th, 7 days, explosion. Now look at Wolf. Very similar story. Gets the bullish crossover right here. You get that big, nice pop. Pull back near the daily trigger. You see right here where price hits the daily strength, bounces right away, and then boom, from 589 to 910, almost an 80% move in a few days, from November 4th to November 12th, literally a few days. And then again, price pulls back to the daily trigger, and because the triggers are all long, which means that the weekly and the monthly are strong bullish, easily going to catch support at the daily trigger. The algo's nowhere to dip by, and now price is going to send higher. So to me, it's like we're literally in the melt-up waiting room. Like, you ever played COD before? You join the lobby. Play Fortnite, you join the lobby. We've joined the melt-up lobby, and we're just sitting here right now and waiting. And to me, it looks like like it's a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Like people get nervous, like, oh, the market's ripping, GME's not ripping. I said the same thing back here on November 6th. The whole market was ripping. IWM, SPY, insane gap ups, insane moves. One of the biggest market moves I've ever seen. And people were tripping out on Twitter like, oh, the whole market is melting up and GME's just doing nothing. I posted that tweet on Friday too. I said same vibes. And then shortly after, we saw this big explosion. So to me, Thursday and Friday, when IWM was rolling and SPY was rolling and QQQ was rolling and small caps were ripping and minor stocks were ripping, I mean, holy crap, look at this move on Mara, right? Which we're long in the Discord. 50% upside move this week from 1783 to 2664 high. 50% upside move. And what do you know? Same thing. Triggers are all long. So price came down to the daily trigger. It dipped a little bit below, but it's like a springboard kind of setup, like a trampoline kind of setup. Like when you jump on a trampoline, the trampoline goes down and then springboards higher. So same thing here with Merit. Came down into the daily weekly trigger, springboarded higher. And you know, you have all these stocks ripping and GME is just doing nothing. And it reminds me a lot of early November where everything did the same thing. And then shortly after, GME made this big push. So I think on Thursday, Friday, we saw max suppression. And I think things are about to turn up in a big way. It would be really cool if like this played out and like middle of this week would just explode to the upside. Would be really happy to see that. But regardless, whether we have this one dip to the daily trigger left or not, Meltup is here, Meltup is coming, and Jamie's going to 100, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's my thoughts on the setup right now. All right, let's take some questions. Are you still running 3-month promo? Yes. Hold on 1 second. Let me put it in the chat. Every Sunday we open it up for like 20 spots. So 1 second. So it's memestockwatch.com and then use code MELTUP in all capital letters for the platinum plan, and that's how you get a free month. And if you want to cancel, just text me at any point during this next month, and we'll take care of that for you. Does DOT have a Meltup trigger? I don't like looking at other stocks on stream because like that's basically what the Discord's for. Thoughts about Root? Same thing, Edgy. Like that's what the Discord's for. So I try to leave value there. You think GME can ever see 250, 300 bars? Absolutely, brother. It's coming. Where do you think Ryan Cohn will dilute? So, you know, it's really wild to me that everybody thinks Ryan's going to dilute again. He's not going to. This is the Meltup. He's not going to stop this. He knows it's coming. There's no more dilution. That's not even a worry to me. Do you think Jamie will instantly go to 100 or go to 40, pull back, and then go higher? So I think the Meltup setup is going to be 2 to 3 weeks of just vicious, unrelenting upside where we have like 20% gap up days in pre-market and 60%, you know, upside overnight, like on a random weeknight. Like shit's about to get crazy. So I do think it's going to be, the whole thing I think is going to last about like 2-3 weeks. And then once that's over, wherever we top at, I think we have a major pullback, obviously. And then we start like a 2-3 year bullish uptrend with price going much, much, much higher. The Meltup is just like a fun way to play options. But overall, I'm bullish for the long term here. Roland, do you think Cohn will dilute again? I refuse to believe that Cohn will dilute again. I think it's impossible. I don't think it's happening. I'm curious about interest in regular ETH since you talked about ETH Classic. I think the correlation is just much closer to Ethereum Classic. Ryan always dilutes after the squeezes lose steam. He rug pulls the shorts. So again, this wasn't a setup for a Meltup. The weekly trigger was still well below the monthly trigger. I think it was a very smart move to raise cash here because now when we actually melt up, there's a great narrative behind it with 4.5 billion in cash. Where do you see this settling out long term? So I spoke about this last week, but I'll just quickly show it again. I think it's about to pull a Tesla. So if you look at Tesla back here, where it got that bullish weekly trigger, monthly trigger crossover. So here was the crossover right here. And then Tesla just absolutely melted from the crossover to the top, 164%, like a very short period of time. And then you can see a major pullback followed by a couple of years of just very strong uptrend. And that's exactly what I think Jamie's headed into. I think we're about to do this. We're about to have a major Meltup, but I'm looking for 500 to 700% upside. and then post Meltup after this pullback, wherever it goes to, whether it goes to the weekly trigger or to the monthly trigger, I don't think it'll be this steep. Tesla was pretty steep, went all the way to the monthly trigger. I think it'll be just to the weekly trigger, and then start a couple of years of just very strong uptrend as Cohen completely transforms GameStop into a customer passionate tech company. By the way, my YouTube guy just texted me to tell everyone to like the stream. So I'm not like into YouTube at all. I just do the streams, but he's like, you got to grow your YouTube. So I told him I'll do it. So if you guys like the stream, then if you could just hit the like button. I'm sorry for even asking, but whatever. He helps along with like the YouTube production, so I'm just gonna listen. You got a price target for your shares higher, at least a couple of years higher. Like, not even a question. Not even a question. This isn't going to be a melt up and then we go back to zero. This is going to be a melt up, a massive pullback, whatever that pullback is, as long as I'm out of my options by then. And then some strong years of upside. So we're right here, basically. We just got the bullish crossover. We're about to undergo a massive melt up. 500 to 700% is my target. 130 seems fair to me to get out of my options. And then a big pullback. I don't know what it'll be, but a big pullback. And then followed by some strong years of upside. Eventually it'll top, but I think we're going to look something like this. Thank you, Hab. Thoughts on Q3 earnings affecting the melt-up? Great question, Mr. Abraham Stinkin. It's a good name. Listen, I don't think anything makes a difference at this point. At the end of the day, this is a liquidity cycle. Liquidity is rushing into risk assets. There's zero doubt about that. And so I think like no matter what, it's coming. So let's say there's a big earnings dip. All right, worst case, there's a big earnings dip. I think it'll get bought back right back up the next day and then continue the upside. I think it's going to top out, Mr. Beakers. I think it's going to top at above 100. I think 130. 130 is my target. Like, sure, it could be higher, it could be lower, but like around the 130 range. Let's just call it 100 to 150. If I see the number 130 on my screen, I'm selling my options. Like, that's for sure. I'm not going to be greedy about this one. Like, I still have my shares. Thoughts on the volume of the last week? I think that GME is undergoing pre-melt-up price action. And the example that I showed was 2020, where price underwent very similar price action. So, it's the same idea. Bitcoin breaks to all-time high, GME melts up. Bitcoin halving, BTC breaks out to all-time high, GME melt up. And like this price action that GME played out right before the melt up, you can even see here, like after the bullish trigger cross, it didn't immediately melt up. It was close, but you have the bullish trigger cross and there's a little bit of upside, then a pullback, and then the melt up. So I think we're doing the same thing right now. Like it's really nothing complicated. We had the bullish crossover, we had a nice upside move. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback anywhere between the daily trigger and the daily strength. So 26.30 to 24.90, which will move up 20 cents per day this week, and then the melt up. Wow, thank you for the tip, VK. I appreciate that. $1,000 and Kramer sucks up a horse on live TV. That's funny. You don't see this hitting 1K, do you? Listen, anything's possible, man. I'm here to predict a melt up. I'm not predicting like long-term price targets. My forecast is a melt up followed by a retracement, followed by a couple of years of pretty strong upside as Ryan Cohen transforms this company into a customer passionate tech organization. Is it possible to melt up without retracing? Of course, mystery. Like, to be honest, anything's possible. And no matter what I say, like there's no chance I'm gonna nail it. There's no chance I'm gonna be right about everything. It's the general idea that I'm trying to get through is that we are about to undergo a massive meltup. GameStop is about to be the front page of every news program over the next month or whatever. And there's gonna be a fantastic opportunity to make crazy amount of money on options. Just like June 2021 with AMC, which made many, many, many millionaires. But after that, I personally expect a big retracement, followed by a couple of years of very strong upside after the transformation is underway. You think the guy on Reddit is price anchoring at 126? I saw that for like a minute, but like I don't know that guy's theory. All I think is that we're about to head up, and we're about to head up a lot. I think things are really about to get crazy. And again, like if there's a pullback to the daily trigger, so be it. Cheaper options. Is AMC going to move alongside GME? I can't imagine it won't, but I don't really forecast AMC. All right, so basically, if you look at it this way, let's look at it this way. Hold on, guys. Okay. By the way, this is where I tweeted last time, where like the whole market was ripping and GME wasn't, and then we exploded. So same thing happened Thursday, Friday. The whole market was ripping, GME wasn't. I think it's just suppression, and as soon as the suppression is let go, things will fly. So look, you see the daily trigger climbing up strong, and you see GME fighting this wall at 30. So just look at it logically for a minute, all right? Obviously, once GME breaks and hold 30, like, of course, momentum traders, FOMO traders, breakout traders are all going to jump onto this trade. That's not even a question. And the daily trigger is automatically going to be the dip buy, because if the weekly and the monthly are strong bullish, the daily trigger will hold strong. Any dips down to the daily trigger will be bought, and that's an absolute. Of course, I could be wrong, but highly, highly unlikely that price will lose the daily trigger at any point going forward before the Meltup starts. So to me, it's like worst case. You have something like this where the daily trigger slowly climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs. And then eventually, the daily trigger pushes price through this wall. So let's just say we get like this pullback to the daily trigger, bounce, bounce, bounce. Eventually, the daily trigger will keep climbing and push price through this $30 wall. And once the $30 level is broken, I mean, it's pretty clear what happens next. Like, again, tons of momentum traders, tons of breakout traders are going to jump into this trade. The volume's going to increase like crazy. And that's really how Meltup starts. So, like I said, we got the bullish crossover, and now we're executing perfect pre-Meltup price action, just like all the past Meltups have gone. We're executing that pre-Meltup price action where things start slow. There's a big, strong move up to start, and then there's a little pullback, and then things get going. So I think we're right there. Like, again, worst case is a tap to the daily trigger, and then the Meltup starts. Best case, it just takes off this week. Does it make sense to exit the options in your set range and then re-enter leaps into the major dip after Meltup? I mean, that would make sense if you can time that perfectly. My plan is to just sell at 130, make good money, and then ride my shares till whenever. If I make good money in options, I'm not going to feel any pressure at all to sell my shares. Do you think the buy button will be removed again? Highly unlikely, in my opinion. Once this blows, will you be buying puts? Absolutely not. What kind of percentage gains could you expect from January leaps? I think anywhere between 2 to 5,000 is realistic in the case of the Meltup. I do. Again, life-changing gains. That's what we're here for, right? We've been here 4 years. Why settle for anything less? Now, again, like if this goes to like 90 and then has that massive retracement, and I get angry comments, like that's on you guys. Like I have a profit-taking strategy. I spoke about this last week in the stream that I'm going to use to get out of my options. Like, sure, I want 130, but I also want a lot of other things. No guarantee I'm going to get it. The main point is don't be greedy, and once you're in good profit on options which expire, make sure to have a plan and not get greedy and don't let it go to zero. So if you make, if you're up 1,000% at 90, don't be retarded and maybe take some profit off the table and maybe set a stop loss in profit for the rest of your calls. And it doesn't matter if you get stopped out and we go to 130 because you still made great money. So just don't be greedy. That's my only message. If you do really, really, really well, don't be greedy. I've been there. I've went up life-changing gains too many times to count and then lost it all because of greed. And I will not be making that mistake this time. That's for sure. Too much pain. Way too much pain. Not happening again, that's for sure. Do you believe in Roaring Kitty emoji timeline? I'm sure there's something to it. I haven't been following it like exactly, but like I'm sure there's something to it. What I do think about Roaring Kitty is that I don't think he's going to tweet. I think we are just going to melt up, and then maybe after he'll tweet, but for this melt-up to happen. Cold plunge, that's a great question. Is there any part of you that thinks that the GME Gigapump would cycle the end of the risk bull market, as in sell everything and wait for a year? Yes, I really do. I've been saying that for a while. I think that once GME does melt up, watch out. Sell everything else. Because I do think that GME pump will be the end of the risk cycle. Again, I think I made this tweet before. Bitcoin first, and then when Bitcoin like starts to top out a bit, like it's doing right now, then Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, and a couple of other major alts. Then comes like Dogecoin and all that kind of stuff, and XRP and like all the higher risk, and eventually that liquidity will trickle into GME and will ignite the melt up. And I think this will all take place over the next month. So we've already had Bitcoin. Now Ethereum's going to get going. Solana's already getting going. We're just going through the classic liquidity cycle, exactly how we did last cycle in 2020. And then the GME Meltup will begin. So really, it's just like we're not far. We're right here. It's very, very, very obvious. I'll just show you guys. So you had last cycle. You had that Bitcoin break into all-time high. Here's the all-time highs. So you had a big Bitcoin breakout above all-time high, and then you had a huge move like we just saw recently, and then Bitcoin pulls back a bit where we are right now, and then during that pullback, GME melts up. So we're in the same exact thing here. Bitcoin all-time high. Now probably going to get a little bit of a pullback. GME is going to melt up, and then continue the pump. But yeah, I mean the melt up's here. Like really, really, really zero doubt, zero worries anymore. The melt up's here. I don't know exactly when it's going to kick off, but again, it's like I said, worst case is like December 23rd ish. Hopefully it happens before that. I don't really want to sit through another month of people saying when melt up, when melt up, when melt up. So hopefully it happens before that, but that's my worst case scenario. I do not think we enter January and price is still below 30. I think it's impossible. Don't you think ER can stall this move there or nothing burger? I don't think so. I think all of this is programmed already. I think, nothing can really stop this already. What I will say is that, if Ryan announces anything like that they bought Bitcoin in like the 60Ks or whatever, that'll absolutely be the perfect narrative for the Meltup. It's official. I'm a platinum member. Thanks, James. Awesome. Welcome aboard. You'll have a lot of fun in there. It's a great community. Really, really proud of the community that we built at Memecoin Watch. Do I know a good Lamborghini dealer? I know that that's not the first thing or that I'm looking to buy. Really, I'm just trying to make this gain and then try to make some passive income off of that gain. Ryan buys shares instead of dilution, switcheroo. Wouldn't that be neat? Do we get an earnings pump and pullback like normal? Possible. Again, I don't think earnings is going to be a factor. I think the Meltup is already programmed and absolutely nothing is going to get in the way. We are going through the liquidity cycle right now. We got Bitcoin to all-time high. Let's wait for Ethereum Classic to give us like a huge pump above let's say 35 or whatever. And that's your signal that the Meltup's officially started. We all owe you a Lambo if it hits. Nah, you don't owe me anything. I just want to see everybody win. That's the truth. I just want to see everybody win. Everybody that's been here for so long, we deserve this. And now we're about to get rewarded for our conviction. It's honestly a 9D chess move. It is. What I mean by programmed is that these liquidity cycles, once they start, there's nothing that can really stop it. So just like in 2020 where the liquidity cycle happened, and Bitcoin broke out to all-time high, and then risk assets started flying, IWM, a lot of small caps. We're going to have the same exact thing here in GME. It's not even a question anymore. As in, it's all programmed to happen at this point, and nothing can really get in the way of it. 4 years hodl time to enjoy the gains. Exactly. Hab, don't send me any of your profit. You deserve the profit. You did the holding. You did the buying. Don't worry about me. Okay, so good question, SGN. Try to remember that last cycle, the halving was in May. So May to January. This cycle, the halving was in April. So April to December. Okay, that's the big difference. That's the major difference. So last Bitcoin halving cycle was May 12th until the Meltup was 247 days. So because it was in May, the Meltup was in January. This halving was a month later. It was a month earlier. So instead of January, it'll be December. So I think listen, we're on the cusp. We are on the cusp of greatness. It's just like be patient for like a drop more, guys, and get paid. That's really all I have to say. When do you expect the Meltup will take place? Anytime in the next 4 weeks. And the Meltup should be about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of just vicious, unrelenting upside. Just like AMC in 2021. Do you have a preference between January and April options? I don't really want to talk about specific options online. I don't want to get like into any kind of trouble about that. So I leave that for I just post my positions in the Discord. But I'm not gonna discuss that like on live stream or on Twitter. Like, don't really want to get into any sort of trouble with like financial advice and stuff like that. I think we're here within the next 2 weeks. Yeah, Legacy Trader, I agree. I think we're right here, Jamora. I mean, yeah, if Kitty posts a YOLO, that would be sweet. But again, I don't think we need it. I think this is all programmed and it's going anyway. Janik, the Discord's not free, but we do offer a 1 month free trial if you want to give it a test drive, see if you like it. Do the GME related meme coins still have your attention? You bet they do. Now again, like people think like I'm shilling these meme coins because I bought them and I want them to go up. Guys, this is a $50 million market cap. None of my tweets are making any difference, but basically you guys could see like what this coin did the past 2 GME pumps. So like, yeah, I think that the GME coin is such a much better option than playing calls because it never expires. Its low was like 18, so that's only 50% drawdown or whatever, 55, 60. And that was like it's very, very, very low. It's a strong holder base. It's a great community. All these guys that are holding the coin also hold the stock. And I just think like for me, I have a big position in the GME coin only because I think it'll do multiples, 10, 20x. And then I'll sell it without selling my GME shares and be able to make money on the Meltup. That's like, I guess my main point about this is that it's very simple. Like, would you rather sell your shares to profit off the Meltup or would you rather sell a coin to profit off the Meltup? And I'd rather sell a coin personally. Do you read up much macroeconomics? If so, any YouTubers or Twitter accounts, etc., do you follow closely? Great question, Fraser. Batch is one. That's a really, really good macro account. And Henrik Zeberg is another really good macro account. Where are you buying the GME coin? On Solana, Phantom Wallet. How was the coin tied into the actual stock? So I'll tell you. In the Solana world, right, the Solana marketplace, whatever is like in at the moment is what's going to do well. So, like Chill Guy, I'm not sure if you guys saw the meme, Chill Guy. Basically, like I was on TikTok on Sunday night and I saw the Chill Guy meme and then I scrolled 2 more TikToks and I saw it again. And then I scrolled 2 more TikToks and I saw it again. And I was like, oh, this is viral. Like, let me go check if there's a coin for this. And I go to Google and I search and I go to Deck Screener, which is like how you could search coins. And I searched Chill Guy and I saw it was at 3 million market cap. And I was like, this is definitely going to hit Twitter at some point. Like, this is such a good meme. So I put $1,000 in at 3 million market cap. And I'm going to show you guys. $92x. I called it at 3.4 million. That's when I bought the coin. Now it's at 309 million. So my $1,000 turned into 100K from Sunday to Wednesday night. Dead serious. Dead serious. Now I sold along the way. I sold at 50 million. I sold at 100 million. I sold at 200 million. I sold more at 300 million. This went all the way to 500 million. But from Sunday night, I put in $1,000 at 3.4 million. and it went up 92x. At the peak, it was 132x, so 1K to 132K, and this is within a week. So I took that money and I put it into GME coin because I think that's what's going to go next. And a lot of people actually hit this in the Discord, thankfully. Not too many because I'm not really good at this, but I got lucky. Pure luck. But my point is, whatever is viral in the world, people go straight to Solana and they look for a coin to make profit off that. So if GME is about to be the most talked about thing in the entire news, you guys saw the Buck coin a few days ago, right? What was that, last week? Buck, it went from 0 to 70 million in like 3 hours, and that was Buck, the GME mascot. Yeah, here's my Phantom wallet. I don't know if I could click on it, if like you guys will see my, I don't know, can I click on this? I'm not gonna click on it. But my point is that was very lucky. Okay, that was a lucky thing. I was on TikTok, I saw something that I thought would go viral, I bought it, and it went up 100x. But if GME is about to be the most talked about thing in the world over the next month, you guys really don't think people on Solana are going to buy the GME the GME coin? You think these meme coin traders are going to go and buy options? Hell no. They're going to say, how do I find exposure to GME, the GME coin on Solana? And this shit is going to pump to 1 billion. Dead serious. Which is like 20x. Because right now it's at 35 million market cap. Yeah, it's like a 30x, literally. $1 billion. $1 billion market cap. So 2000x. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. And what, worst case, like, let me ask you something. Does this coin look like it's going to zero? Does this coin look like it's going to zero? It's been around for 300 days. And it bottomed out clearly over here. And now it's like above some key triggers. Like, this is not going to zero. Options go to zero. The GME coin is not going to zero. So that's where I like it. That's why I like it. People are like, oh, you're shilling GME coin to take away buying power from GME. Like, bro, you got tinfoiled badly on Reddit. Like, you got to wake up. Not everybody's out to, like, suck liquidity out of GameStop as if my couple of tweets are making a difference. Like, relax, bros, relax. Yeah, the Keith Gill coin is also another good option. Like, you guys have to understand, if Roaring Kitty comes back and the GameStop goes to 100, the coins are going to go stupid on Solana. Stupid. Like, insane valuations. And, like, if you could take advantage of that and get in and get out and just take advantage of that, you're going to make a shit ton of money. Yeah, I literally sold Chill Guy. I sold half at 100 million, so like 40K or whatever. And I just bought the GME coin, and now I'm just chilling on it. Like, it's a macro longer term hold for me. I have zero worries that it's going to zero. There's like 50,000 holders. It's very equally distributed. I did the math. I mean, I did the research on it. Let me check something else actually. And again, I'm not shilling this coin. I'm just saying, like, people ask me, how do you plan on profiting off GME? If it's going to be the most talked about thing in the world, then obviously the GME coin is going to do good. Like, it's not even a question of if, it's a question of when. So that's my bet. Like, if you don't like the bet, don't take it. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. Like, I personally think it's a good bet. I'm just checking something. All right, so right now there's 49,000 holders of the GME coin, which is a fourth of the WIF holders, and WIF is at $3 billion. So, like, you're telling me this can't get to 1 billion? Come on, let's be real. Of course it can. But enough about the GME coin. I mean, it's just another way to bet on the Meltup. Jill is on Solana, yes. Kitty also, yeah, I'm saying whatever. Like, for me, the GME coin is like the most sturdy, highest market cap out of all the GME exposure, and like, I'm sure you can get lucky on a couple of low market cap ones, and just that'll go like 150 to 100x during the melt up. Again, you have to understand, if GME starts to melt up, what do you guys think all the Solana traders are going to do? They're going to run looking for exposure. So Gil is going to be another good one. Kitty, like Jamie Cat, like all these guys probably going to get crazy pumps. On the Phantom crypto wallet, yeah, that's where I buy them. Do you think Chill Guy goes higher again? Absolutely. I think it's going to go above $1 billion. You're scared about earnings and dilution. I'll tell you, dilution, do not be scared about. That's like, I'm telling you, that's like the craziest thing to be scared about. Like, Ryan's not retarded. He's not going to dilute the Meltup. Don't worry about it. It's just not happening. Earnings, it's like, yeah, I post it's not just me posting the Memecoin trades and MSW. Like, we got a whole chat for it. I'm saying this is like all day people are trading these coins, like all day, all night, 24/7. People are posting like coins, and like it's a ton of trading it. We don't just trade stocks. Like, how are you going to gamble during the weekend? You got to gamble on something during the weekend. So Solana coins are just awesome. I'm a big fan. I'm saying I lost money for like 6 months straight on them, and then I hit Chill Guy and like 100x my portfolio. So as long as you get lucky once, you win. But yeah, straight gambling. There's nothing safe about it. You heard anything more from your Wall Street insider on the BTC purchase? He told me that it happened already, that Wall Street all knew that Ryan bought Bitcoin. Is he wrong? Possibly. I have no idea. We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to find out later. Desmond, I'm so sorry, man. Happens to be a lot of guys in the Discord faded it because, again, I suck at this shit. And, like, I posted so many losers before, and then I'm like, hey, guys, Chill Guys at 3 million. I think it's going to go to 100 million. Everyone's like, okay, here goes James again. Like, stick to stocks, buddy. And then it just yeeted to 100 million. And now it's at 300 million. But it was just funny because, like, no one really believed me because I've been wrong about so many. And then the one time that I actually had like the biggest banger ever. Here, actually, you guys want to see one other thing? Look at this. I also called Peanut. Check out this. 17,609x. Called it at 65,000, 68,000. Now it's at 1.2 billion. I owned it. I owned it at 68,000. I sold it and I fumbled. I checked like you could check how much you fumbled. I fumbled $2.2 million. If I would have held it, $2.2 million I fumbled on. I had like $30 in here. Literally would have been 2.2 million if I held, but whatever, it happens. Enough about Solana though. Like, let's get this GameStop Meltup underway. Come on. I hope it starts this week. I really do. It would be such a fitting, like, it would be so beautiful if like a week or two after the bullish crossover, we just start freaking erupting. I think it could be this week. If you really ask me my opinion, I think it's gonna start this week. Yeah, legacy trade. I hear you. With triggers, it definitely makes it easier to trade some of these larger cap meme coins. But yeah, otherwise, that's really it. I think we're ready. Let's get the Meltup underway this week. And shit's about to get crazy. That's my main message here. Like, buckle up. We're about to get going in a big, big, big way. Shit's about to get real. And let's go. Like, let's get hype. Here it comes, you know? We waited a long time for this. It's finally here. Don't be scared of the moment. Don't be scared to be too bullish. This is it. We're about to melt up. We're all about to make some serious dough. Don't get greedy at the top. Make sure to take profits along the way. Good luck, everybody. Go crush it. Go change your lives. You worked hard for this. You stayed 4 years in this. You got laughed at by everybody that you knew. You were right the whole time, and now you're about to be proven. So have a great weekend, everybody. If you do want to check out a free trial at Meme Stock Watch for the Platinum plan, I'll write it one more time in the chat. For the Platinum plan. And then, like, for all you guys asking, like, how do I know when to sell or whatever, like, we're going to do our best to sell the top and de-risk when it's time to. Obviously, I'm not gonna like post too much on Twitter during the. Thank you, Isaac Romero. I appreciate that. Obviously, I'm not gonna post like too much about like price action during the melt up. I'm more so just gonna be posting memes, and just chilling. But if whatever, like if you guys want more access, like we give daily and very frequent during the day updates on GameStop and like the rest of the stuff that we're long, um, like on the Discords. Like free trial. If you guys like it, feel free to stay. If you don't like it, shoot me a DM. I'll cancel it for you. No hard feelings. Like again, we're not trying to take anybody's money unless you find value in it. Can you tell them to wait a week to start the melt up and need to buy more GME shares? Listen, man, maybe you get lucky. I kind of feel like it's gonna start this week. I'm not gonna lie. Like you guys could probably hear the excitement in my voice. Oh, you're the GameStop guy. Brilliant. Yeah, I see that comment on my Twitter all the time. You could just go to memestockwatch.com, go to the platinum plan, and use code MELTUP, all caps. And if you want to cancel before you get charged in a month, just shoot me a DM. Be happy to take care of that for you. So yeah, that's it. Listen, if we start melting up this week, then it will follow exactly like 2020. So we'd have like a good vision. But otherwise, if we don't, just keep an eye on Ethereum Classic, guys. It's at 28.72. If this thing like breaks 35, I promise you the melt up is here. Like I promise. Like I have an alert set here. If it breaks 35, at that point, I will make a crazy, crazy YOLO. BT. Emerson, I really do want to help you out. I had a simpler explanation. But let's just take a look at the chart, right? Let's just take a look at the chart. So, you go all the way back here to 2021, and we see this big, huge ETC pump, and then right afterwards, GME melts up. And then here we see a big ETC pump, and then right after, GME gets a big pump. Then here we see ETC move up a bit, and right after, GME pumps. And then here we see a huge ETC pump, and a day or two later, GME goes ballistic. And then here we see a huge pump, and then right after, GME makes a nice move to the upside. And then even all the way back to May, to this recent big move, what happened first? Ethereum Classic made a humongous 200% upside move. Then 3 weeks later, here was the top, 7th of March. About 5 weeks later, GME started its massive melt up. So here, look what's going on now. ETC is starting its massive pump again. So almost certainly, if you look at past history, and every single time that GME made an upside move, ETC went first. So this little blip on ETC, if this continues and if this gets crazy like we saw here, or like something like that, obviously GME is going to go next, just looking at past correlation. All right, guys. I feel like we've covered most of it. I love hanging out with you guys, and honestly, I just want to say I really appreciate all you showing up on a Sunday to listen to me yap for an hour. I can't wait to celebrate with all you guys after. Just be having the time of our lives posting memes. GME at 100. It's going to be surreal, man, seeing triple digits on GME. But yeah, like we're here. Don't celebrate too early, but like we're here. This is it. This is the melt up. We're about to make it. GameStop is going a lot higher. With as much certainty as I can muster. I have zero doubts in my mind. Everything that we wanted to see is playing out. We wanted to see the bullish crossover. Bullish crossover happened. We wanted to see Bitcoin break to all-time high. Bitcoin broke to all-time high. We wanted to see Ethereum Classic start to rip. Ethereum Classic is starting to rip. We wanted to see a narrative start to form for GameStop. And we might hear on earnings that they bought Bitcoin, but we already are starting to see this whole buck thing. Could be the beginning of a really strong narrative to kind of explain the melt up. So really, everything is lining up perfectly. I have zero doubts in my mind that within the next month, GME is headed way higher. My maximum date for this to start is December 23rd because that's how many days it took for the last melt up to start post halving. But otherwise, every single signal is flashing green. There is a possible final dip to the daily trigger. If you get that, that's the strongest buy signal ever. This is the retire your family buy signal. This is the buy the dip with every single thing you have. I'm not giving financial advice, just talking about the way I view the setup. And then to the moon we go. So break 30, and that's kind of your signal that it's on. Otherwise, if you see Ethereum Classic make a crazy upside move, that's your signal that it's on. But regardless, it's on. It's a matter of time. It's either going to be a couple of days, it's going to be a week, going to be 2 weeks. But it's here. Just get ready. Just wait patiently, and I'm very certain that we'll see this start to take off any minute now. All right, guys. My voice is running out, to be fair. So I'll see you all. Have a great weekend. Always feel free to DM me on Twitter if you have questions. I'm happy to talk to you guys. I love you guys. Such a great community that we have, and we will all be in touch. One last thing, in terms of meme coins, do you have any way to keep yourself from getting rug pulled? Just depends on the meme coin, man. Like getting rug pulled is part of the game. If I'm really, really confident in something, I'll put like 1,000 in it. But most of the time, if I'm taking like a bet, I'm putting in like 20, 30, 40, $50 maximum. And like if it goes 3, 4x, I'm already taking my initials and some profit and then just leaving a mood bag. So, just if you're gonna risk it, like I just do small size, take it easy. I'm not gambling like the house on these meme coins. It's small size. The more established ones, the ones that have been around for a year or so, or above 20, $30 million market cap, those are the ones that I'm okay with taking a bigger size bet because they're not going anywhere. Does this rip without the retracement to the daily trigger? It sure is possible. Here's what November 20. Here's what 2020 looked like, which would have the melt up starting this week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday this week. And maybe we won't get the pullback to the daily trigger. In fact, I thought we'd have already gotten the pullback if we were going to get it. So maybe there is no pullback to the daily trigger. But if there is, it's a buy. And then we go boom, boom. So whether we do or we don't, both roads lead to melt up next. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll see you.